Okay, let's play something a little less stressful than Catan today.
Please.
Oh man, I liked Catan. Today, we're playing Clue.
Oh no. I suck at Clue.
Clue, you say? Yeah. Is that okay? Clue will be fine. Just fine.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
I'm gonna suggest Mrs. Peacock in the ballroom with the rope.
What? What is he thinking? Ben definitely has Mrs. Peacock because 4 turns ago Rick suggested Mrs. Peacock with the wrench in the library, but I have the wrench and I know Rick has the library because Rick gave Ben a card 6 turns ago when Ben was in the library and Ben guessed Mrs. White in the library with the candlestick, and I have the candlestick, so the card Rick gave him had to be Mrs. White or the library, but Ben keeps guessing Mrs. White, which means Rick didn't give him Mrs. White, so Rick gave Ben the library, which means Rick has a library and I have the wrench, which means 4 turns ago when Rick guessed Mrs. Peacock in the library with the wrench and Ben gave him a card, Ben must have given Rick Mrs. Peacock, so why would Rick guess Mrs. Peacock again? Is he really just trying to throw me off? Or make me think that Ben has the rope card? But everyone already knows it's the rope. Your sick little game isn't going to work on me, Richard. You were supposed to guess Professor Plum, you idiot. You've already guessed Mrs. Peacock and got that card from Ben. Well, at least I'm closer to the kitchen.
Okay, let's go with Miss Peacock in the study with the rope.
Well done, Ben. Since everyone knows it's the rope and Rick knows you have Mrs. Peacock, you're forcing my hand by making me give information to both of you at once, thus putting more pressure on me. Oh, okay. So it isn't the study. Good to know. Ben, you fool. I now know that Wyatt has the study, since everyone knows it's the rope and you have Mrs. Peacock. Another room crossed off my list for free.
My turn.
No! I needed to get to the dining room this turn! Do I turn back to the hall and waste a guess just to keep Ben from getting to the kitchen next turn? But slowing both of us down will only help Rick, and he's already in the ballroom. I may not be able to keep them both from getting to the kitchen. And anyway, since everyone knows it's the rope, once they get there they'll probably focus on suspects and guess me, since Plum is definitely the murderer. I could get stuck being moved from room to room and never get a chance to guess in the right ones. Impressive, Ben. This forces my hand. I'll just have to accuse now. It's a 1 in 3 chance of being right, after all.
I'm going to accuse. I accuse Professor Plum in the dining room with the rope. I was wrong. I lost. Your turn, Rick.
This is really bad. If Wyatt was desperate enough to guess, it must mean that Ben is going to win on his next turn. Okay, I'll have to risk it. Everyone knows it's the rope, and Wyatt knew it was the dining room, so Wyatt must have been wrong about Professor Plum. But then, is it Mr. Green? What if Wyatt was wrong about both the room and the suspect? How could Ben already know so much? Enough. I just have to go for it.
I'm going to accuse Mr. Green in the kitchen with the rope. can't believe it was Plum. It was Plum? Of course it was Plum. I can't believe it was the kitchen. It was the kitchen? Of course it was the kitchen. Okay, I'm confused. If you didn't know what it was, and you didn't know what it was, then why did you both accuse? I accused because Wyatt accused, and Wyatt would only accuse if he was scared someone was about to win. Yeah, exactly. I only accused because I knew you were about to win, Ben. Well, you were right. I did win. Technically. Ben, how much did you actually know? Well, I knew it was the rope. Everyone knew it was the rope!
Hey, Clue, don't make it bad. You were made to be annoying.
Of course. Okay, that's a wrap on that.